I'm Jack Child. I served 3 years in the United States Army. I was a military policeman and later military police investigator. I exited the Army after 3 years, went to college on the GI Bill, joined ROTC and found myself in the Air Force flying C-141s. I rose to the rank of captain. I was a 141 instructor pilot. And so I served about 10 years. And as I like to say, I retired without pay. G-Force was born of, it really is kind of an offspring of a previous brand that I had. We were in the pavement maintenance and parking lot striping businesses years ago. I franchised that, and I tried very hard to find veterans to join our group, and it was a big challenge. I felt that it was a win-win, both as a franchisor, you've got franchisees who know how to follow a system, show up on time, in uniform, get the job done. And also, I think it's a win for the veterans who want to get into a business, don't know where to start, don't know how to, do branding, marketing, selling, business systems, and things like that. So I thought it was a good way to recruit veterans by making the brand about them. So the G-Force brand is exclusive to military veterans. We're the first to make it exclusive just to veterans, and that's worked out real well because frankly, recruiting into the parking lot striping business is kind of a heavy lift. Ever dreamed of being in the parking lot striping business. But once they, kind of look under the tent, dig around, do some research, talk to our franchisees. And once they do talk to our franchisees, it's generally really easy to recruit. We've got a lot of happy franchisees. We're very blessed. So we are currently in the process of simultaneously launching 3 new brands. We just launched Mach 1 epoxy floor coverings. We do fancy garage floors. We also, there's big demand in big box stores, restaurants, airplane hangars, epoxy and similar type coatings is really big business right now. And so we just sold our first 2 franchises, and those were sold within our G-Force group. 2 of our existing G-Force franchisees wanted to be on the ground floor of Mach 1. Another brand that is coming to market is called Field Ops. Field Ops is a direct descendant of G-Force. We were getting a lot of inquiries to do athletic field marking. Our machines are sort of equipped to do it, but not exactly right for many of the fields. So we were turning away a lot of work. And we were also turning away a lot of folks who wanted to get into G-Force, but the price point was a little high. We're designing Field Ops to be a super low cost franchise. If the prospect has as little as $20,000 and a pickup truck, they can be all in between franchise fee, the equipment needed, training, website. It's a neat little niche business, probably ideal for someone who's retired, wants to run a business, but doesn't want an all-consuming business. Field Ops is kind of a neat spot. And then our last brand that we're launching will be Paint Core. That's launching, I think, about the time this interview comes out. It should be launched by mid-January. Paint Core is in Marine Corps, CORPS. This franchise came about because our very first G-Force franchisee has a brother-in-law who's in the painting business, and he was watching what was happening at G-Force, and he and I got to know each other a little bit, and I kept telling me he was really in a good spot to franchise his business. And so he's finally decided to franchise and share his success with other veterans. And we had to rebrand because of some trademark issues with his current company, but we're rebranding his company as Paint Core. And we think that will actually be our biggest brand overall because there's such high demand for home painting, interior and exterior, plus commercial painting, to 24 service technicians, 11 service vehicles, full-time staff. It's a really big operation, and he's got some great systems that we're going to be able to share with our fellow veterans. It is an owner-manager operation. uh, we don't really expect the franchise owner to be out there painting a house. It's really for the owner manager type. The other brands are owner operator, where you can transition to owner manager over time. We have 4 brands now. So someone comes in and say, you know what, parking lot striping isn't for me. I get that. And normally we'd say, okay, good luck. And now we have 3 other things for them to consider, to look at. And not only that, the power of all these brands networking and throwing each other work is incredible. And between Paint Core and GeForce, we buy a lot of paint, which gives us a lot of leverage with the manufacturers of paint to negotiate better pricing. So it's really a win-win-win all the way around. To put it simply, I think veterans get things done. Just because of their backgrounds, they're often put in a position where they really don't. As great as my training was in the military, I was always faced with new challenges, like how do we do this? And so by having that, all those successes over the years, to get things done, I think it makes veterans ideally suited to be an entrepreneur, particularly in the franchise space. They can get things done, but they also know how to follow a system. 3 promises we make to our customers is that we'll show up on time, in uniform, and be accountable for what we do. That's really kind of what veterans are all about. But that's really lacking in the contractor space. And so we're really selling trust in all of our brands. We're selling trust that when they hire one of our guys or gals to go out and do the job, it'll get done. And that's somewhat of a rare commodity, sadly, these days. Obviously, we're targeting veterans. So we looked around to say who's in the communicating with veteran space, and we, of course, we found Victory Media and GI Jobs. I had already been subscribing to like their email blasts and things I'd see online. So we built a relationship with them, and I would say probably more than 90% of our franchisees came through our relationship with GI Jobs. They'll post ads on Facebook and other spots on the internet that they're pretty eye-catching. It's like, hey, like, you can't own one unless you're a veteran. And people are always like, what do you mean I can't have something, or only if you're a veteran? Those ads cause the vets to, take a look. We want them to spend, even if we get a minute or 2 of their attention on our website, it often leads to them filling out a request for information form. Then we put them into an email drip campaign. Of course, we try to call them and see if they want to chat about it. And we use that email drip campaign to communicate and tell our story. And eventually we get, some number that are interested in talking, and they don't quite make it to the finish line. Maybe they don't have funding, or, they just are afraid to make that final plunge. But eventually you do get to those folks who are like, they're really interested. They're excited. They're first 2 Mach 1 epoxy floor franchisees. Number 2 is this week, and number 1 was last week. So this is November, and we expect to have a few more perhaps signed by right after the first of the year. Field Ops becomes available in December, and Paint Core will be available in January. There's a lot of legal paperwork, and frankly, the building, the architecture of the website takes a long time to build it the right way. So those 2 things are holding us up from launching it a little sooner. We have one main landing page, if you will, veteranservicebrands.com. They can go to that site, and it gives you a little blurb about each of our locations. They can request information about 1, 2, 3, or all 4 brands. They'll get dropped into the email campaign that matches what their interests are. We also have some relationship with funding resources to help them get through the SBA process. Most of our folks have used some sort of funding. They'll tap into their own retirement and repurpose those funds to create a corporation. It's called the ROBS program, or a straight up SBA. They call it Express, but with COVID, the Express has gone from 30 to 40 days to like to 40 to 60 days now. But it's streamlined, and there are some benefits to being a veteran. There are some lower costs. There are some programs there that are really designed to help vets get into business. We do have a special program, what we're calling the founders discount. The first 5 franchisees to join us in the Field Ops, Mach 1, or Paint Corps brands receive a very big discount. Our franchise fees are lower than the industry normally. Our Mach 1 and Paint Corps franchise fees are $25,000. Typical painting franchises can be $40,000 to $60,000. So we're well below that, but the first 5 get a $15,000 discount. So they're only paying $10,000. That franchise fee is only $10,000, but the first 5 will come in at $5,000. So if they're seeing this video in January of 2022, or reading about this, there still may be some discounts available yet. We have a very large advertising campaign plan for 2022, and well, I think the service industry is hot right now, and I don't see that abating. If someone watching this video is thinking about getting into business, I'd recommend they consider the service business and not necessarily picture themselves doing the work per se. A lot of the services, businesses or franchises, you're an owner manager, and can also think outside the box. Sometimes the things that we find really interesting and cool, and they're often just a fad. All of our brands are pretty meat and potatoes. Parking lots, they're boring. Yes, we love that. It's not glamorous. Awesome. That's a great place, to be, is in the non-glamorous spot. Athletic fields, they're everywhere. Your kids have to play soccer. Epoxy floors are not. They're kind of hot and popular right now, but that's for a reason, because they're really durable. They're long lasting, and a lot of the commercial applications are getting away from tile and carpet, and some of the faux woods are going to fade away, I think, too. And these polished concrete or epoxy type surfaces are really here for the long run. And of course, house painting is going to be needed forever.